everyone, and welcome back to Thrill Builds Gaming. Today we're building the dark ride. So I had a lot of fun with this dark ride. It was complex and quite challenging to try and get it into such a small space, but I've managed it. So I'm using one of the ghost train track rides, and the idea was to have the whole thing in an abandoned tomb, an ancient temple type building. So I'm laying out the track, which to try and get in such a small space was challenging and kind of fun. So I believe this is version 1. I did have to retrack and relay out the whole thing multiple times, but we did get there in the end. So yeah, I had to keep running the trains just to make sure they could actually get everywhere, and it got stuck on that hill, so that needs to be a lift hill, but there's not a lot of space to have straight track for the chain lifts. So, and with the actual train tracks for the people mover running through the area, it was not easy. But I got there in the end. So it was a lot of playing about with different heights and making sure I could actually get a chain lift in, which was fun. So I think I've got it this time, and I finish off laying the track and connecting it up together. And you can probably see what I haven't seen yet, but the chain doesn't go to the top of the hill. So it just kind of stops and gets stuck, which is a bit annoying, but yep. So I thought, if I just make it lower, my total physics knowledge just kind of went out the window that, I'm trying to get it to go higher than the first hill, so it just wouldn't work. But yeah, so yeah, I had good fun with this, good fun. There we go. Oh, it stopped there now. We're getting there. We're nearly back at the station. So another lift hill. Will it make it? What do you think? Is it going to make it? I don't think it will at that final corner. There we go. So now that's got to come down. And I just having such trouble with this such a small area, but there we go. That should work now. Yay! So now we can start doing the theming. So like I said, and then I moved it and deleted it, and I had to replace it. I want this to feel like an abandoned temple, an ancient temple hidden in the middle of the jungle. And this is our last ride in the jungle zone, and then we're moving on to one of the other zones. So what I thought was the theming on the outside should feel a bit like an archaeological dig. And then it'll be a massive temple on the inside. So this is me starting to build the temple walls. So here we go, a nice floating temple walls, but it does its job. And there's lots of theming and animatronics on the inside. I'm really getting the hang of the build tools in this game. So the most challenging part of this one was the fact that it's not just a dark ride track that's got to be covered. There's also the main train line also goes through the temple, so you get a glimpse of this ride from the inside, which could be quite entertaining if you were riding the train. So now I originally wanted to do sort of that staircase pyramid, but the amount of space that would have taken up, I wouldn't have been able to fit it in. So I've just gone for the stone temple. So I haven't finished off all of the landscaping around, but I will do that off camera and then show you what the whole place looks like once it's finally all filled in and finished. And then I guess I could open the train station and people could start riding the train into this area. So I did remember that you can use the move and duplicate tool. So I managed to get the roof done quite quickly. And the flooring. So because of the terrain and all the track around, I wasn't able to floor the entire thing. But it does have everything that you would want. So then I went in and started dividing up the spaces into like the different chambers. So I wanted there to be a tomb entrance, which would then lead into sort of a traps corridor. So you've gone through the main entrance and then there's all these booby traps about. From there you move into a cursed chamber where there's a mummy, and then you make your escape from the haunted temple back to the main dig site, the station. Those were the vibes that I wanted. Now, first time I've ever built a dark ride in this game, and it's not the best, it's not the greatest, but it's built, and I know what I would improve. My first big improvement would be make sure you've got space, so that you're not trying to cram in something so ambitious in such a small space. But there we go. So this is me putting together the entrance. So I've painted the whole sort of terrain inside with sand so that it looks like it's a stone floor. Not great, I will admit, but it is what it is. And now I go back in and divide up the space some more. What dark rides have you guys built? Do you find them easy or some of the most challenging builds? I think the dark rides are, at the moment, the most challenging ones that I've done. But there's a lot that I haven't done in this game yet. So potentially it's only going to get harder. So now I'm trying to do angled walls and having a good time with that. And I'm really getting used to that advanced move tool now. So here we go. There's the inside layout. Got the different zones and everything like that. So I wanted it to feel a bit grand when you come in, but it's not spectacularly grand. Like I said, there's a lot that I would change. I didn't want to give too much away to the passenger train. They can have a glimpse, but they can't see the whole thing. You gotta pay to do that. So I've added in some fire on the inside, and I was going to put some more fire elsewhere, but didn't. So there's a fair few animatronics in this ride, which you would expect. So we got the nice stony face coming out of the wall, because that gives off ancient temple vibes. And I thought about putting in some beetles, but I couldn't get them to in a position where they would just stay where I wanted them. We need some slamming stone doors that you go through. I need to have a look at the triggers, because sometimes when you go through it, the door's closed, and yeah. So, need to have a look at that. What kind of a place would this be if you didn't have rocks smashing into the wall? Big swinging axe. So yeah, great fun. The trouble with it being such a compact track is a lot of the animatronics they're too big. So there wasn't a place that some of them could go where they would actually not clip the track. And you can see that the plan for where everything wants to go has kind of just gone out the window. I liked the idea of having some skeletons sort of dotted about, people that had tried to, like tomb raiders that had tried to break in, but you know, the ancient temple has kind of hung them. A couple of mummies. And yeah, it's coming together. More fire. I thought we would have a whole sort of spiked floor, just to make the guests feel like we're about to impale them. Some snapping columns. More spiky things coming at you. And the good old buzzsaw. We do like a good buzzsaw. And yeah. Now we need some torches to light up the place, because we want it to be eerie and dark on the inside, just lit by flames. And they were annoying me because they wouldn't snap to the wall. Because when building this, there's so many parts that are just different buildings, so yeah, that was irritating. But got it lit. And then some more fire. And I wanted some lava. But I couldn't find where to put the lava. So I gave up on the lava. And now I'm just gonna enclose the whole thing. I need to go back and turn that column around so that it doesn't snap out of the building, and add in some sound effects. But we have our temple dark ride. And now I just need to enclose, sort of fill in the whole zone with the jungle fill, and that will be the jungle zone finished. It's coming together. So thinking about the jungle zone, what would you all have done differently? If you were building a jungle zone, what would you have put in it? Would you have done similar fill to me? I mean, I'm guessing you can all build better than me in this game, but what would you have put in? And how are your building skills with this game? Because I feel mine have gotten better, but they're not perfect by any means. I'm not a pro at this game. I've been playing through the challenges and careers on Twitch, which is helping, but there's a lot to learn. And I heard that there's rumours that there might be a Planet Coaster 2 coming, so that will be fun. And I've been starting to look at Planet Zoo for making videos on that I might in the future go into Planet Zoo and see if the skills are actually transferable. I don't think they will be, but I think there'll be bits that are transferable skills. Because I like the idea of building a zoo. Whether that zoo be ethical or unethical, I don't know. So I still wanted to have that sort of temple feel that we all kind of picture when we're looking at sort of the South American, Mayan, Aztec kind of temple with those sloped sides and then the big statues on top. So I've made this thing and some more fire. Always need fire. So I imagined this would be where the sacrifices would happen. And then I just enclosed the whole thing with some big blocks of stone. And then went back and neatened it all up. So the actual outside of the temple isn't finished, but it's got the feel, the vibes are there. And then I wanted a statue to put at the top. And I got my lava, so I stuck that in there. So that's the rough outline of the temple done. Now it's time to do the queue area, which again, because the space is so compact, I had to move the main path, which again isn't ideal, but it does the job. So it's not the longest queue, but it's a queue. And then I wanted some archaeological dig kind of feel. So I looked to see if there were any pre-made scenes for archaeology, but I couldn't find any. So we went and did it custom. So I've got a nice little archaeologist digging, one using a pickaxe. Got some rubble that they look like they're digging in. A little cook stove, a crane for all their equipment and their finds coming out of the temple. And just dotted around some hitching posts and different sort of things, but I will finish this off, make it look more, polished. He's got a spare pickaxe in case he breaks his pickaxe. And yeah, it's getting there. So I did a little bit of landscaping, but not all of the landscaping, because I'm just going to finish off the whole area, because nothing else is going in. I might dot in the odd building here and there, like toilets and an information kiosk and things like that, but there's going to be no more rides in this area. So that's the jungle zone nearly finished. And then I don't know which one to go on to next. I might do the pirate one next. Yeah. We'll work our way around clockwise, I think. And I finally added vines. Now that I'm more confident with the advanced move tools, I added in the vines, and I just realised you can be building this and then you click on a different object and it'll change what object you're placing. That is incredibly handy. So I need to use that when finishing off the train station, for example. So the last little bits is adding in some roots. So that's what I've got so far for this. So let's take a ride. And there we go. Thanks for watching. Let me know of any changes you think I should make.